I was not recording it, but I've started recording it now. I apologize about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so for us, for the POC, I think this again is fairly straightforward. Um, to do this with our services team, when the project would start or the POC would start, we would just do a remote session. We would need to install on the nodes of the cluster. Now the install is going to require the cluster service to be stopped and started, so the cluster nodes may roll. So we want to make sure we do it at a time when the cluster service can be stopped and started. We'll do it on the passive node, and then we roll the resources. Some environments are okay with that. If this is a test environment, it's not a big deal, but it is a requirement to put in our cluster tools to do that. Because what we'll do is we'll create a cluster-based migration job. That way, if any time during the migration, the cluster would move between nodes, the migration job would start right back up and continue where it left off.
Okay, so if I'm understanding it correctly, the installation for this tool would require a failover.
Yes, it's going to stop and start the cluster service. That is unfortunately, that's a Microsoft requirement. When you bring in a cluster resource, you have to stop the cluster resource to the cluster service to install the AP, the plugins, the DLLs.
Okay, so it would be installed on both the nodes and we would install it in the passive node always.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the best way. Install it on the passive node, make the passive node the active node, and install it on the passive node. That way you can control the movement of the cluster.
Okay.
And then once that's done, there's no more interruption until you do the cutover. So once
So
we're
there will be
installed,
two outages, basically, two small outages.
correct. Then once you add the disks, the new disks, we'll add them to the cluster group. We'll have the volumes labeled, and then we'll start the migration job from the old disks to the new disks.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
The good news
So
is
how we?
the new volumes do not need to be the same size. They can be whatever size you want to make them.
Okay.
They just obviously they need to be big enough to support the amount of data being migrated to them. Right? You can't take that old disk that has 2 terabytes on it, move it to a 1 terabyte volume. And they just need to be formatted for Windows and then have a drive letter, and that's all we need.
Okay. So if I have a 2 TB disk and I have 1 TB of data on it, I can bring 1.2 TB of disk and I can perform the migration.
Correct.
Okay.
The benefit is it allows you, to restructure your data sizes or your disk sizes as part of the migration.
Okay.
Chandani,
So how?
just a quick question. Are we planning to do a remote session to test the migration, or is it going to happen at some point later?
So I believe this one was supposed to be a working session, Arpan. So we wanted to do the POC actually on both the clusters.
Okay, shall we start then?
Yeah, we should.
I'm sorry that I was not informed that this would be a working session. I don't have availability on my calendar to do a working session.
To be honest, that's why I was asking, because I wasn't sure that you guys on the same page that we asked, because I think it's been told us that this is going to be a working session, and it seems to me that this is not something that you guys expecting.
Yeah, I was not. I mean, we can put something on the calendar to do that, but I was not expecting that today. No, I'm sorry. Apologies if that was misunderstood. I have another call in 8 minutes.
This might be just a misunderstanding from our side, I guess. But yeah, let's just discuss then the things that we need to discuss, Chandy, and then if there is no further questions, I don't think we should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really.
So then I think this all informations we already had, because we already had one demo session from your team, Derek. So now what we are looking for is the working session. So You can set up something similar, maybe. So Arpad and Attila, does Monday same time works for you, or Tuesday?
Yeah, Monday at this same time is fine for me. We can start a working session, and so I can either be, it would be me or one of my engineers that I'll have come in to do the working session.
Okay. Arpad, how about you?
How long that working session would be? I mean, is it 2 hours?
It probably, I have a call at, let's see, I don't have a call. It probably won't take 2 hours, but we can plan on 2 hours is fine.
Okay.
So can we?
Because if it's 2 hours, if you can bring it a bit forward, let's say half an hour earlier than the date and then the time today,
Yeah, I was just
that
saying the
would be,
same.
I think, easier for all of us.
10 a.m. Eastern is just fine. Excuse me.
So
But
Derek, please
Monday
set up
is fine for me.
something. Yeah, 30 minutes prior to what we had the schedule today. So please set up something like that, and then we can accommodate 2 hours. And Attila, I hope this works for you as well.
Yeah, it works for me as well.
So can we expect a meeting invite from you, Derek?
Yeah.
I'm working on it right now. I'll
Yep.
send that out.
Okay.
So,
So just one requirement that we're going to have is I'm going to write up a statement of work for this. We have a company rule that anytime we touch a customer's environment, even with the POC, we have to have a statement of work that says this is what we're doing, so that if anything would happen, we know why that we're doing a remote session. I'll just make sure that gets sent out, and if we can just review that and sign it real quick, that just says we're doing this work. That covers me with our company.
Okay, so it will just be an email, right? We have to authenticate.
It's an actual document that I'll send, but if you can just reply with it, if you acknowledge that this is the work. I'm not even going to make a signature go through. I just have to have the actual document created and an acknowledgement.
Yeah, because
that. Yeah.
Okay, so if it is a digital acknowledgement, then that works.
Yeah, that's fine. I need to put that in our system. That way, again, it's part of our rules that I have to follow. So.
Yeah, okay. Because all of us are working from home, so we cannot. We do not have the resources to take the printouts and all those things. So.
No problem.
Derek, just a quick question about the remote session. How do you guys do this normally? Is it the way that we be sharing the screen for giving the access to the server, and then you perform the POC, or you are just instructing us to do certain things?
We can do it either way, and I'm fine with just instructing you on how to do it. That lets you kind of feel the software a little bit, and navigate things. If you want to give me control, I can click on it. So it's completely up to you.
Okay. What are the requirements for the POC itself? So from our side,
the only real requirements, we have a .NET requirement. I'm just going to make an assumption here. These are Windows 2008 R2 or higher OSs, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So one is 2008 and one is 2008 R2.
Okay.
So sorry, one is 2012, I think.
Let me just check it. Give me a second.
Yeah, we're as long as it's 2008 R2 or higher, all of the .NET requirements are met, because the .NET in 2008 R2 is our base. If we have to go
okay, and if it is 2008, then what is needed?
It's .NET 4.5.1 or higher.
Okay, so Arpad,
just give me a second.
Which it actually requires a different version of our software, because our latest version does not support Windows 2008, since it's not a Microsoft supported OS anymore.
Okay, one of these are R2.
But I can use an older version of the software.
Which one did you check, Arpad? Is it J2W?
Checking all. Okay, all the 4 nodes are Windows 2008 R2 Enterprise.
Okay, then we are covered.
Yeah.
And will you provide the binaries in the working session itself, or?
Yes, well, when we start the working session, we'll just open up a browser window and download it right to the server.
Okay.
Okay, I think then we will meet again and discuss, because we can meet on Monday.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's just finish
Yes,
this
Arpan?
call. Everything should be fine. I think there is no issue with that. There is internet on the server, so we can download the binaries. So I don't see any reason why it shouldn't work. And let's meet on Monday then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Arpan, and everyone.
And
Okay.
just to make things more efficient, is all the new storage assigned to the clusters and all of that done?
Yeah,
Attila?
those are ready.
Okay, that's a time-consuming component. So just if you guys have that ready, then it'll make
Those are
this
ready, but we have not formatted the disk, so maybe we can keep the disk formatted also before the call.
Okay, yeah, if you want to go ahead and format the disks and bring them into the cluster, bring them into the group. That again, it's time-consuming components that we can try to save a little bit of time on Monday.
Yeah, I think I will put that this information. I mean, all the old drives and the new drives on the email or something, and then you will have this information before we start the session. So
Okay,
there will be no confusion what to
That'd
do.
That'd be great. Appreciate it.
Alrighty. I have sent out that invite, so you should see it in your inbox if you haven't received it already. On that, I think I mean we're good to go. We'll have that as the next step, and we'll proceed from there. Any other questions from your team over there, Chandi or Arpan or Tila?
Oh.
Nothing from me. Thanks.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Derek. And we will connect on Monday at 11 in the morning Eastern. 10 in the morning Eastern.
Sounds good. Talk to you then. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Have a great
Thank
weekend,
you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.